I overheard my husband laughing with his friends. She still has no idea I'm sleeping with her sister. They all burst out laughing. I froze. My heart stopped. Did I just hear what I think I heard? Because in that moment, standing outside my own house, I felt like my entire life had just shattered into 1,000 pieces. Let me ask you something. What would you do if you caught your husband bragging about cheating on you with your own sister? Would you confront him on the spot? Would you go silent and plan your revenge? Would you ever speak to your sister again? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Seriously, I want to know what you would have done because what I did, it changed everything. And if you're into wild stories that feel like a movie but are very, very real, make sure you hit that like, tap subscribe, and turn on the notifications because this story, you're not ready. My name is Priscilla Thomas. I'm 31 years old, and I've been married to Logan Kramer, 34, for just over 7 years. We met in college, built a life together, bought a cute little house in the suburbs, and we're even talking about starting a family soon. We weren't perfect, but we were solid, or so I thought. My younger sister, Hannah Thomas. She's 28, bubbly, beautiful, always the life of the party. She's been my best friend since we were little girls. Sleepovers, inside jokes, matching Halloween costumes. I trusted her with everything. I never saw her coming. If you told me a year ago that my husband and my sister would betray me like this, I'd laugh in your face. But here we are. And the worst part, it didn't just happen once. This had been going on for a while, right under my nose. But before I get to how it all exploded, and trust me, it exploded, let me tell you what led to that night. The night I came home early. The night I heard them laughing. The night everything changed. You know how some siblings just are your person? That was Hannah and me. We weren't just sisters, we were best friends. Like, share the same bed during thunderstorms. Finish each other's sentences close. Growing up, it was always Priscilla and Hannah, like one name. My mom used to joke that we were practically twins, just 3 years apart. Sleepovers turned into wine nights as we got older. She was my maid of honor at my wedding. She was the first person I called when I got promoted. And when Logan and I decided to start trying for a baby, Hannah was the one helping me track ovulation, sending me little good luck texts every month, even offering to drive me to appointments if Logan got stuck at work. Logan, my husband, he always liked Hannah. He said she reminded him of me, just with more sass. I thought that was funny at the time. Cute, even. He and Hannah got along easily. They'd tease each other, make jokes at my expense, gang up on me during board game night. And I thought, wow, I'm so lucky they like each other. This is what family's supposed to feel like. Looking back now, that comfort, that ease between them, that was the first red flag. I just didn't see it yet. The little changes started slow. I remember the first time I noticed Hannah really getting dressed up, not just casual cute, when she'd come over. Tight jeans, full face of makeup, heels. For a movie night? At my house? Date night with yourself? I joked. She just laughed and said, "Hey, a girl likes to feel pretty." I didn't think much of it. Then there was Logan. My chill, laid back, couldn't care less about his phone husband suddenly couldn't be parted from it. He started keeping it in his pocket all the time, even in the bathroom, even while we were watching TV. And when it buzzed, he'd glance at it and tilt the screen away from me. Subtle, but I noticed. One night, Hannah came over for dinner. We were just hanging out in the kitchen. Me chopping veggies, her pouring wine, Logan scrolling his phone, and they were joking about this dumb TikTok trend. Laughing together, quoting some inside joke, not even involving me in the convo. I stood there with a knife in my hand and a pit forming in my stomach, thinking, why does this feel like I'm the outsider in my own home? Still, I shook it off. Because that's what we do, right? We trust our people. We assume the best. And I had no real proof. Just a bunch of weird feelings and gut instincts. Plus, I was distracted. We'd been trying for months to get pregnant, and every month I saw a negative test. I'd cry in the bathroom for 20 minutes, clean my face, and come out smiling. Hannah always told me it was going to happen soon, that I was made to be a mom. All the while she was sneaking around with my husband. But I didn't know that yet. I was still trying, still believing in this life I thought I had. And honestly, if I hadn't come home early that night, I probably still wouldn't know. It was supposed to be a relaxing weekend. A little getaway with my book club, nothing fancy. Just 2 nights at a cabin up north with a fireplace, wine, and no real responsibilities. Logan encouraged it, said I deserved it. Hannah even helped me pack. And here's the part that makes my stomach turn every time I think about it. She hugged me goodbye. She hugged me and said, "Have fun, sis. You deserve a break." Like she wasn't about to break me. The second night of the trip, I got a headache so bad it felt like my skull was pulsing. I told the girls I'd head out early the next morning. No big deal. Everyone gave me hugs and waved me off like it was any other weekend. But this wasn't any other weekend. I pulled into our driveway just after 9 p.m. The house looked calm. Lights were on in the back, but not inside. I figured Logan might have been hanging out with some friends, watching the game, or whatever. His car was there, along with 2 others I recognized, Harvey Wilkerson and Jaden Mayo, his 2 closest friends from work. The guys he always described as good dudes, the ones I cooked for during football season, the ones who toasted us on our anniversary. I was about to head inside when I heard voices, loud, drunk voices, coming from the back patio. They were laughing, real deep belly laughs, the kind that echo off fences and make you pause. I crept toward the side gate, the one we always forget to latch, and peek through. There they were, Logan, beer in hand, Harvey with a cigar, Jaden scrolling through his phone and cackling at whatever they were showing each other. The fire pit was going, bottles everywhere. And then, right as I was about to step out and say, "Hey boys, surprise, I'm home early," I heard my name, and I stopped. I don't know why. Call it instinct. Call it God. Call it something in my gut saying, "Don't move. Just listen." Logan's voice. She still has no idea I'm sleeping with her sister. Harvey choked on his drink. Jaden Dam near fell out of his chair laughing. Logan grinned, cocky as hell, and kept talking. I swear I could walk into that house right now and tell Priscilla I banged Hannah on the kitchen counter, and she'd still think I was joking. I felt my knees go weak. No. He didn't mean my sister. He didn't mean Hannah. This had to be some sick inside joke. Something I wasn't understanding. Maybe there was another Hannah. Maybe he was drunk and saying something stupid. But then Harvey chimed in, still chuckling. "Bro, I don't know how you pulled that off. I mean, Priscilla's not dumb. She's gonna figure it out eventually." And Logan, the man I married, the man I was trying to have a child with, said, "She's too trusting. That's her problem. Always has been. She'd never suspect her perfect little sister would screw her over like that." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I felt like I had left my body. This wasn't a suspicion. This wasn't a gut feeling. This was confession. I backed away from the gate, slowly, careful not to make a sound. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely get my keys into the car door. I slid into the driver's seat, pulled out of the driveway, and just drove. Nowhere in particular. I didn't even have a plan. I ended up parked behind a 24-hour pharmacy, 3 miles away. I sat there in the dark, gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping me from falling apart completely. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just cheating. This was betrayal layered on betrayal. My husband, my sister, together, behind my back, for who knows how long. I stared straight ahead for a solid hour, maybe more. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just kept repeating the same words over and over in my head. She still has no idea I'm sleeping with her sister. And the worst part? He was right. I had no idea. I don't even remember turning the engine on. I just know I was driving. Hands shaking. Eyes wide. Mouth dry. I was moving, but had no idea where I was going. Then I saw it, Arya's apartment building. My best friend since high school. The one person I could fall apart in front of without shame. I pulled into her lot, parked like a drunk raccoon, and just sat there until she noticed the headlights and came outside in a hoodie and slippers, confused. She didn't ask a single question, just looked at my face, nodded once, and opened her arms. I collapsed, like literally, body folded into hers, and I started sobbing so hard I could barely breathe. I couldn't even form full sentences, just fragments. Logan! Hannah, patio laughing. She held me, like a mom holds a toddler who just had a nightmare. We stood there in the freezing night air, no words, just the sound of me completely falling apart. Once she got me inside, wrapped me in a blanket, and shoved tea into my hands. Even though I clearly needed something stronger, she sat down on the floor in front of me and said, softly, "Tell me everything, and don't leave out a single word." So I did. I told her about the patio, the laughter, the sentence, that sentence. She still has no idea I'm sleeping with her sister. I watched her face change as I spoke. Horror, disgust, pure rage. At one point, she whispered, "That's evil. That's not just cheating. That's calculated betrayal." And that's when it really hit me. Calculated betrayal. This wasn't some drunken mistake. This wasn't a one-time thing that happened in a moment of weakness. This was planned, ongoing, hidden, deliberate. And once the crying slowed down, and my chest stopped heaving like I'd run a marathon, something even worse happened. The flashback started. Like the time Hannah bailed on Christmas dinner, saying she had the flu. But Logan also conveniently left early that night because he forgot to close out a contract. I'd never put those two together until now. Or the weekend Logan claimed he was at a real estate conference, but came home with no swag bag, no notes, and didn't even remember which hotel he stayed at. I just assumed he was tired. Meanwhile, Hannah posted a staycation photo on Instagram and tagged the same area. Then there was the time Hannah accidentally left her earrings in our guest bathroom, and Logan brought them to her personally. I remember asking, "Why didn't you just have me drop them off?" He shrugged and said, "I was already out." The pieces were all there, scattered like a puzzle I didn't know I was supposed to solve. And that night, sitting on Arya's couch, I realized something that would change the entire course of what happened next. I didn't want closure. I wanted revenge. Because confronting them right away, screaming, crying, throwing their stuff into the street, that would make me look unhinged. That would give them control of the story. And I was done being the clueless wife, done being the sweet sister, done being the fool in the room full of liars. I looked at Arya, wiped the tears off my face with the sleeve of my hoodie, and said, "I'm not going to say a word. Not yet. I'm going to let them keep thinking I'm stupid." She stared at me. "Are you sure you can handle that?" I nodded. "Yeah, because I'm going to burn them both down. And I want them to feel safe when it happens." That night, I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling in Arya's guest room, wide-eyed, like my body forgot how to shut down. Every time I blinked, I saw Logan's smug face. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard his voice again. She still has no idea I'm sleeping with her sister. But here's the thing about heartbreak. Once the numbness fades, clarity hits like a freight train. By sunrise, I had a plan. Step 1, get evidence. Cold, hard, digital, undeniable evidence. I knew Logan had an iPad he barely used. One he left lying around the house like it was a coaster. What he forgot, it was synced to our shared Apple ID. And sometimes cheaters are stupid enough to think only their phone matters. So I went home, acted normal, kissed him on the cheek, told him the trip was nice but boring. He laughed, offered to make dinner that night. Business as usual. While he was in the shower, I grabbed the iPad from the bookshelf, sat on the floor of the guest room, opened messages. Boom, there it was. A full thread with Hannah. I didn't even have to scroll far. Just open their chat, and the first message read, "Last night was insane. Still can't believe we did it in the guest room while she was upstairs." I felt like vomiting. But I didn't. I stayed still, hand trembling, and started taking screenshots. Hundreds of messages. Flirty texts. Nudes. Can't wait to feel you again. I miss the taste of you. Stuff that made my skin crawl and reminded me just how much they didn't care. She was sending him lingerie photos and outfits I had gifted her. He was telling her how Priscilla is so vanilla while planning weekend getaways under the excuse of work. I made a secure Google Drive folder, uploaded every screenshot, labeled each by date, and backed the whole thing up to a flash drive. This wasn't just rage. This was documentation. Step 2? Play dumb. I started performing. And girl, when I say Oscar-worthy, I mean it. I cuddled with him on the couch. I laughed at his lame jokes. I talked about baby names, all while knowing that just 48 hours earlier, he was trashing me on the patio with his beer belly buddies. I watched Hannah, too. She came over 2 nights later with a bottle of wine and fake smiles. She hugged me. She hugged me. I almost slapped her right there. But instead, I poured her a glass and asked if she wanted to sleep over. Like old times. You know what she said? Only if I can crash in the guest room. The same room they hooked up in. And that's when step 3 came into play. The nanny cam. Arya helped me order one. Discreet, motion-activated, 1080p, disguised as a phone charger. I plugged it in by the dresser, angled just right to catch everything. I didn't have to wait long. 3 days later, I told Logan I was going to visit my mom for the weekend. Left Friday morning. Came back, unexpectedly, Sunday afternoon. Checked the footage that night, and there they were, in my house, in the guest room, kissing, laughing, doing things I can't even say out loud without wanting to scream. She was wearing one of his t-shirts. He was saying stuff like, I wish you could just move in, to my house, that I cleaned, that I decorated, that I paid for. I watched that entire video, top to bottom, and then saved it to 3 separate, encrypted drives. I was building a case, a portfolio, a war chest, because this wasn't going to be some messy fight. This was going to be a surgical strike. And when I hit them, they weren't going to see it coming. At this point, I wasn't just hurt anymore. I was pissed. And the thing about betrayal is, once you see it, you start seeing all of it. Every lie, every weird excuse, every I forgot, or it was just business suddenly glows neon in your memory like a flashing red warning sign. Let me take you back a few months. Hannah's birthday weekend. She told me she was spending it alone this year. Said she needed time to reflect. Said she was working on herself. Meanwhile, Logan claimed he had a work retreat in Ocean City. I remember even packing his overnight bag for him like a dumb little housewife, tossing in his favorite hoodie and reminding him to take Advil in case he drank too much. Guess what I found while combing through his credit card statements? A 2-night stay at the Seabreeze Inn. Ocean View Suite. Room service charges. Champagne. Chocolate-covered strawberries. I cross-checked the dates with Hannah's Instagram. She didn't post anything that weekend, which was already weird for her, but one of her tagged locations from a friend's story had her in the exact same hotel bar. They didn't even try to hide it. I downloaded the receipts, screenshots of the map, timestamped it all. Filed it under a folder titled, For the Judge. Then came the attorney. If I was going to go to war, I needed someone who didn't flinch. Someone ruthless, smart, tactical. And that's how I found Jania Townsend. Her Google reviews read like a mixtape of scorched earth victories. She helped me keep the house, the dog, and the car. She made my ex cry during mediation. She doesn't play, she wins. Our first meeting, she didn't offer pity. She didn't even blink. She just opened her notepad and said, Tell me everything. And don't leave anything out. I want blood. So I gave her everything. The iPad texts, the video footage, the hotel receipts. Jania didn't even flinch. She looked at me and said, This isn't a divorce. This is a takedown. Let's go get your life back. At her suggestion, I started moving valuables out of the house. Quietly, carefully. A few pieces of jewelry that were passed down from my grandma. My birth certificate. Important financial docs. My passport. Even the painting in our bedroom. The one Logan's mom gave us. Not because I liked it, but because I knew it would make him mad when he noticed it was gone. I replaced everything with cheap decoys or rearranged furniture, so he wouldn't notice the gaps. Every time I left the house, I carried one small piece of my old life with me and brought it somewhere safe. But I wasn't done, because if you want to truly control the damage, you control the story, and that's where Alexis McIntosh came in. Now, Alexis was one of those friends who never talks much at parties, but somehow knows everything about everyone. Quiet gossip queen. Not messy, not loud, just observant. The kind of person you never realize is dangerous until it's too late. I invited her for brunch. Played it cool. Told her I had concerns about Logan and Hannah. Planted the seeds. Let her draw her own conclusions. She sipped her iced coffee, raised an eyebrow, and said, I always thought something was weird about them. Perfect. Because once Alexis believes a story, it starts traveling. Casually, subtly, organically, exactly how I wanted it to unfold. At this point, I wasn't just building a case. I was building a catastrophe for them, and a fresh start for me. And the best part? They still had no idea. They thought they were untouchable, that I was too sweet, too soft, too slow. They had no clue that the woman they thought they were walking all over was about to bulldoze everything they thought they were hiding. When you've been lied to for that long, you don't just want the truth out. You want it to explode. So I chose Hannah's birthday dinner for the big reveal. Why? Because the entire family would be there. Parents, cousins, aunts, uncles, even Logan's mom, who adored Hannah like a second daughter. It was perfect. The plan? Dinner, dessert, then detonation. I offered to host it, said it was easier for everyone, and that I wanted to do something special for my baby sister. Hannah ate it up. Logan kissed me on the forehead while I cooked. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. Instead, I set the table with gold-rimmed plates, lit candles, arranged the charcuterie board like I cared. I even baked Hannah's favorite lemon cake from scratch, because nothing masks revenge like sincere effort. As the night went on, I played the role of devoted wife and proud sister. I poured wine. I laughed at old stories. I even gave a toast. Happy birthday, Hannah. I'm so lucky to have you as my sister. And Logan, thank you for always supporting us. I locked eyes with both of them. Neither flinched. Still, clueless. After cake, when people started settling into their food comas, I clapped my hands together and said, before we wrap up, I actually have a little surprise presentation. Just something I put together for fun. A quick slideshow. Walk down memory lane. Everyone smiled. Hannah giggled. Logan looked curious. My mom even went, ah, that's so sweet, Prissy. Yeah, sweet. I connected my laptop to the living room TV. Clicked play. And stepped back. Slide 1. A photo of me and Hannah as kids. Cute. Harmless. Everyone cooed. Slide 2. My wedding photo. Me and Logan smiling at the altar. Slide 3. A text thread. Logan to Hannah. She's in the shower. Come over now. Confusion swept the room. A few people chuckled awkwardly. Slide 4. A screenshot of Logan's messages to Hannah. You taste better every time. I wish you could sleep here tonight. She still has no idea. Gasps. Slide 5. A hotel receipt. Ocean City. Same weekend Hannah claimed she was finding herself. Slide 6. A photo from the nanny cam. Them in bed. In my house. In my guest room. Silence. Then, what the hell is this? That was my dad. My mom covered her mouth and whispered, no. No, 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 no. She looked like she might throw up. Logan shot up from the couch. Priscilla, stop. We can talk about this. Not here. Too late. Hannah's face had gone pale like a ghost. She stood slowly, eyes darting across the room, every face turning on her. Even our cousins looked like they'd just watched a murder. You spied on us, she stammered. I raised an eyebrow. That's your defense. She bolted, grabbed her purse, and ran out the front door. Didn't even say goodbye. My mom started crying. My dad just sat there, stunned. Logan, to his credit, didn't run. He just stood there, speechless. His face looked hollow, ashen, like someone had just stripped the skin off his entire reputation. That's when I calmly opened my folder, pulled out a crisp envelope, and handed it to him. Divorce papers, I said. You'll be hearing from my lawyer, Jania Townsend. She doesn't lose. And then I added, just loud enough for the whole room to hear, Happy birthday, Hannah. I wish I could tell you I felt victorious in that moment. Like I dropped the mic and strutted out of my own living room while dramatic music played in the background. But the truth? I just felt still, like my body knew something irreversible had just happened, and it was giving me a moment to sit in it. The hurt was still there, the betrayal, the heartbreak, but now it had company, relief, because now everyone knew. I wasn't carrying this pain in silence anymore. Logan tried to reach out that same night. He texted, called, left voicemails, said he messed up, said he never meant to fall for her, said I was his real home. I didn't respond, blocked his number, blocked his email, blocked his mom just to be safe. He tried using burner accounts on social media, messaging me under names like Just Talk and Need Closure. I ignored every single one. You know what he didn't do? Apologize. Not once did he actually say, I'm sorry I destroyed you. It was all panic, damage control. Let's talk. As if I owed him a conversation. Not happening. As for Hannah, let's just say her world didn't just fall apart. It caught fire and exploded. See, remember Alexis McIntosh, our quiet little gossip queen? Yeah, she may have accidentally let the story leak into the local PR circles. Not in a messy way. Alexis doesn't do messy. She just mentioned the nanny cam footage to a friend who happened to know Hannah's boss. Hannah worked in PR, the industry built on reputation. She was let go the following Monday. The company cited internal conflicts and loss of public trust. Translation: you can't market a client's integrity when you don't have any of your own. But it didn't stop there. Word got around. To our neighborhood. To her yoga studio. To her dating apps. Yeah, someone even uploaded screenshots of her convos with Logan to a cheating expose blog. She tried posting a vague healing quote on Instagram. Something like, growth is painful but necessary. Comments were brutal. My favorite was from some anonymous user who simply wrote, Your sister deserved better. Her parents, our parents, didn't take it well. My dad didn't say much. But when he did, it was during a Sunday dinner where Hannah showed up and he said, I think you should leave. Just like that. No yelling. No drama. Just cold disappointment. Mom tried to defend her at first. Families heal. People make mistakes. But even she couldn't look at me directly after reading the texts between them. They stopped inviting Hannah to family events, told her she needed to figure herself out before she tried to play daughter again. Last I heard, she was staying with some friend from college. No job, no real friends left. Just an Instagram feed filled with cryptic quotes and filtered selfies. And Logan? Crashed at Jaden Mayo's basement. Yep. One of the same guys who laughed when Logan said, She still has no idea I'm sleeping with her sister. Apparently, Jaden's girlfriend made him sleep on the couch too. Said the whole situation gave her the ick. Logan's life became a series of what-ifs and late-night regrets. He was demoted at work, performance issues mostly. Didn't show up on time. Lost 2 listings. Guess guilt doesn't mix well with commission-based income. Meanwhile, I was thriving. Okay, not instantly, but it started. People I hadn't heard from in months were texting me, "You're a legend." I heard what happened. Holy hell. I'm proud of you. You handled that with class and savagery. Teach me. Even coworkers who barely spoke to me started asking to grab lunch, like I was suddenly this warrior goddess walking among mortals. I didn't feel like one, but I was starting to, little by little. And the best part, I didn't have to scream, didn't have to curse them out or torch their things or cause a scene. The truth did all the talking. I just made sure it had the perfect audience. You know what nobody tells you. After the chaos ends, after the lies, the drama, the yelling, the silence, there's this weird, heavy quiet, like standing in the middle of a demolished house that used to be your life, and asking, "Okay, now what?" So that's what I did. After the evidence, after the birthday dinner bomb, after Logan and Hannah's lives started burning from the inside out, I stepped into the quiet, and then I started over. I moved into a condo across town. Smaller, simpler. No emotional landmines in the walls. No ghosts of betrayal in the hallway. Just me, a new set of furniture, and the freedom to breathe again. I bought a teal couch. I always wanted a fun-colored couch, but Logan said it didn't fit the vibe. Well, now he's the one who doesn't fit the vibe. I started therapy, too. Not to fix what they broke, because that's not mine to fix, but to learn how to sit with the wreckage and still grow. My therapist said something during our first session that I'll never forget. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "You survived it. Now it's time to outlive it." And that's exactly what I did. At first, dating felt impossible. Like, how do you even look at someone new without hearing echoes of the lies from the last one? How do you trust someone's smile again when the last one said, "I love you," while screwing your sister? But I took it slow, grabbed coffee, went on walks, met someone who actually listened, not rushing anything, not placing my heart on a platter for someone to break, but letting myself imagine that maybe, just maybe, love doesn't always come wrapped in betrayal. Now, I've got peace. Not perfection, not fairy tales, but peace. The kind that comes from knowing you didn't lose, you learned. The kind that comes from realizing you never needed them to complete you. They were just distractions from the woman you were always meant to be. And trust me when I say this, the woman Logan and Hannah thought was too stupid to see the betrayal, she became the woman who exposed them without blinking. The woman who burned their secrets to the ground and walked away with the matchbook still warm in her hand. The woman they'll never be able to lie to again, because she finally stopped lying to herself. So if you've ever been betrayed, if someone you trusted turned around and gutted you without warning, remember this. You don't need to scream. You don't need to break dishes or beg for closure. You need a plan. You need proof. And most of all, you need to rise. Drop a comment if you've ever been betrayed and came back stronger. Like if this story gave you chills. Subscribe if you want more real stories like this, because I promise I'm just getting started. Thanks for sticking with me through this one. And to Logan and Hannah, if you're watching, surprise. I still had one last twist. Revenge isn't loud. It's calculated. And sometimes it wears lipstick and a teal couch.